Section 11-6, problem solving. Let's look at this example. Finding angle measures using parallel lines. In the diagram, line A is parallel to line B, and line C is parallel to line D. The measure of angle 1 is 60 degrees. What is the measure of angle 6? All right, so what I first want us to look at is I have two parallel lines, C and D, and they're cut by a transversal. Here's angle 1, okay? Angle 1. Then I have another transversal, and these two lines are parallel also. You've got A and B parallel, and you've got C and D, they're parallel. Now I'm going to put two triangles indicating they're they are parallel to one another. Now, from the fact that angle 1 and angle 2 are formed from lines A and B, and they're parallel, cut by this transversal C. If I just look at these two lines, A and B, parallel, cut by transversal C, these two angles are corresponding. Angle 1 and angle 2 are corresponding. And we know that corresponding angles are congruent. So if angle 1 is 60, then angle 2 is 60. Okay? So I have enough information to say that angle 2 is 60. Now, look at the relationship with angle 2. If it's 60, what is the relationship with angle 6? All right. Well, looking at 2, I want us to think about lines C and D. Here I have my transversal B. C and D are parallel, cut by transversal B. If angle 2 is 60, then we know that angle 4 is also 60 because 2 and 4 are corresponding. 2 and 4 are corresponding. I'm going to say that again. If we have lines C and D are parallel, cut by transversal B. If 2 is 60 and 2 and 4 are both on the left side of the transversal above the parallel lines, 2 and 4 are corresponding. Corresponding angles are congruent. So if 2 is 60, then 4 is 60. So now what is 6? What is the relationship that 4 and 6 have? Together they form a straight line. Angle 4 plus angle 6, the measure of angle 4, plus the measure of angle 6 equals to 180. So if I subtract 180, if angle 4 is 60 plus the measure of angle 6 equals to 180, if I subtract 60 from both sides, I find the measure of angle 6 to equal to 120. Going back here, if I know that these two are supplementary, so that's 180 minus 60 leaves angle 60 to be 120. So we know that the measure of angle 6 is equal to 120. So we went from knowing we had two parallel lines, C and D, and two parallel lines, A and B. We knew that angle 1 was 60. Well, if I use the two parallel lines cut by the transversal, just using the top part of my figure, 1 and 2 are corresponding. 1 is 60, therefore 2 is 60. Now if I use these two parallel lines cut by this transversal, 2 and 4 are corresponding. So we know if 2 is 60, 4 is 60. Then we know that these two form a straight line. They're supplementary, 4 and 6. So 180 minus 60 told me that angle 6 is 120.